बड़ा पुराना शेर आज पढ़ा है। मिस्टर एडी सिंह।
Thank you, Chairman Sir, for giving me an opportunity to speak on the motion of thanks of Honorable President. I keenly heard the President's address to both houses of Parliament where I was sitting, but I feel that it was more a praise of the government and it lacked clarity and direction on which side the government is going. From fifth largest economy, we are going to become third largest. But ये तो third largest economy हम बन जाएंगे, किसके लिए बन जाएंगे? वो जो 800 मिलियन को हम लोग 5 किलो अनाज दे रहे हैं, जो सरकार बड़ा गर्व से बोलती है कि ये हम सबको खिला रहे हैं, ये तो सबसे शर्म की बात है। गर्व नहीं, शर्म की बात है, क्योंकि आप ये पिछले 10 साल में उनको कोई काम नहीं दिला पाए या कुछ। अब अपने मुंह में पुट्ठू बनने से कोई फायदा नहीं है। जो सच्चाई है सच्चाई है। हमारे बिहार में जो ये 5 किलो अनाज मिलता है, गांव में मजदूर नहीं मिलते हैं क्योंकि कोई काम करना नहीं चाहता है। और जहां तक इकोनॉमी की बात है, सरकार बोलती है कि एग्रीकल्चर का इनकम, हम लोग किसानों का इनकम बढ़ाएंगे। व्हाट मेजर्स दे हैव टेकन, आई फेल टू अंडरस्टैंड। इवन इन द लास्ट 10 years they have failed to see the 30 to 40% of vegetables and fruits and almost 10% of the total agriculture produce go to waste in this country because of lack of a cold chain. Around 74 million tons of food is lost in India every year, which is 22% of the total food output or 10% of the total food and horticulture put together in 22-23. On one hand, there is hunger and malnutrition, and on the other hand, because of lack of a cold chain, the food is getting destroyed. Food and vegetables are getting destroyed. ये एक छोटा काम अगर सरकार करे पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप में भी कोल्ड चेन बैठाने का, तो इससे फार्मर का डेफिनेटली इनकम बढ़ेगा और मैलन्यूट्रिशन देश में कम होगा। ये something like a cooperative like the Amul model or the IFCO model can really save a lot of agriculture products from being perished. हमारा agriculture growth 1.4% है as per latest provisional estimates of Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. There is a lot of feel good in business circle about the GDP growth. Agriculture engages about 45% of workforce. If the growth is 1.4% in agriculture, one can imagine what is happening to the person who are engaged in agriculture. अब थोड़ा इरिगेशन पर बात कर लेते हैं हम लोग, और particularly in Punjab and Haryana, government has to encourage farmers to diversify in some other crops on the cropping pattern, which is not being done. So what will happen in the next 10 to 15 years, that the water table going down, we are marching towards desertification. We have 18% of the world population and 4% of water resources. So water consumption में हम क्या कर रहे हैं, particularly for example in south of Bihar, it is always there is a water shortage. If we see the recent problems in Bangalore, all over India, what government is doing to enhance the groundwater level or save water for drinking or agriculture purpose. As per DG of ICR, rice is grown in India in 45% rain-fed area and 55% irrigated area. The average usage of water to produce 1 kg of rice is 1500 liters. Situation is alarming in Punjab and Haryana, where there is indiscriminate use of groundwater. Even Delhi is going through water crisis. Days are not far away, there will be no water in many states and cities for the irrigation and drinking. Efficient water management practices such as rainwater harvesting, water conservation, crop rotation, reduction in wastage and pollution, improved irrigation techniques and watershed management to be adopted. अब ये हम let us see the demand, rural demand. Rural demand is absolutely at the lowest level. And as per NSO Household Expenditure Survey, the average per capita monthly expenditure in rural area is only 3,773 in 22-23. There is little purchasing power in the rural household. So unless हम rural areas का purchasing power बढ़ाएंगे by giving them work, but alternately as we are giving them 5 kg ration, so the government thinks that that is enough for them for their livelihood. There has been largely stagnation or even marginal decline in the wages in the rural areas during the second term of NDA. In the rural areas, there is no demand. If you increase the demand, more employment will be generated. Unfortunately, labor-intensive areas are not being focused. The focus is only on the capital-intensive areas such as railway, highways, power infrastructure. The focus should be on rural infrastructure, basically small projects so that rural employment can be generated. Now coming back to micro, small and medium enterprises.
Is he the only speaker from your party or there is another speaker also?
I have spoken.
Okay, then you continue.
Micro, small and medium enterprises contribute more than 29% to the GDP and responsible for 50% of exports from India. The MSME are facing a lot of challenges after demonetization and COVID, such as financial constraint, compliance of regulatory issue, technological advancements, low productivity, shortage of labor, skilled labor, concerted efforts from policymaker, financial institution, industry, association, and other stakeholders required to create an enabling environment to the growth of the MSME. Then we have to also save our heritage from going declining. The traditional handloom weavers of our country carry a rich culture and heritage for the generations together. But with the advances of technology, the art of traditional handloom weaving is drying up. The condition of handloom weavers in Bihar, particularly in Bhagalpur, is horrifying. Lakhs of weavers were there, and now only a few thousands are remaining. Similar is the situation in UP in Varanasi. Now coming to suicide by student in coaching center. There are lakhs of students who are undergoing coaching for various competitive exams in MBBS, IIT, etc., particularly in Kota. It is very unfortunate and painful that every now and then we hear these young students committing suicide under pressure of studies. This is a poor reflection on our education system and social structure. I want to also state something on the judicial system in this country. The preamble of the Constitution has placed justice, social, economic, and political on the highest pedestal above all other basic structures. There are approximately 5 crore pending cases in the Supreme Court, High Court, and subordinate courts. It takes an average of 15 years for a civil case to reach a conclusion. In the Supreme Court, while criminal cases take around 8 years. It also results in overcrowded prisons as under trials languish for years without a verdict. Government is the biggest litigant.
5 crore cases in entire country, not in Supreme Court. 5 crore cases in entire country, not Supreme Court.
Government is the biggest litigant. Poorly drafted orders result in litigation. Less budgetary allocation. The budget allocation to the judiciary between 0.8 to 0.9% of the GDP. Ratio of judges are very low, and cases every case gets prolonged by one of the litigants asking for dates. So even, for example, 138, which is a check bouncing case, as per Supreme Court's direction, it should be finishing in 6 months. It takes years, 5 years, 8 years for it to come to a conclusion.
So negotiable instrument is not working, that new law.
Beg pardon?
That new law of instrument, negotiable instrument is not working.
A very important aspect also is the Muslim representation The Muslim population in the country is 15% out of the 240 MPs of the ruling side. There is not a single Muslim MP. एक तरफ हम लोग सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका साथ का बात कर रहे हैं, बट
नहीं, वो टिप्पणी किसी भी पार्टी को अपना अधिकार है कि जिसको चाहे नॉमिनेट करे।
नहीं, मुझे पता है
उसमें जो है ना,
नहीं,
राजनीतिक दलों को
बिल्कुल सहमत
छोड़ देना चाहिए।
बट उन्हीं के स्लोगन के चक्कर में मैं बोल रहा हूं कि सबका साथ, सबका विकास और सबका विश्वास। नहीं, वो तो उनका बिल्कुल रोल है, वो हो ही रहा है सबका विकास। और प्लस एक चीज जो माननीय राष्ट्रपति महोदया को बोलना चाहिए था, वो था व्हाट इज द हीलिंग टच वी आर गिविंग टू द स्टेट ऑफ मणिपुर। मणिपुर तो कभी हमारी जो हमारी ये सरकार है, वो तो मणिपुर के बारे में वो मणिपुर का नाम ही भूल गई है। और जिस तरह का एथनिक स्ट्राइव वहाँ चल रहा है, it may spread to other northeastern states of India. And दूसरी बात मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि कश्मीर में जब इनके हिसाब से सब और सुख और शांति है, तो वैली में उन्होंने क्यों ना अपने कैंडिडेट खड़ा किया और कोई जीता? क्योंकि कश्मीर में आवाम आज भी बिल्कुल परेशान है उसके दिल को जीतने के लिए। आप उधर देख के बोलिए, आप उधर देख के बोलिए।
एक मिनट
बोले। तो कश्मीर में हम लोग कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं कर रहे हैं जिससे आवाम का दिल जीतने के लिए।
शांत रहिए, खत्म हो, उनकी स्पीच समाप्त हो रही ना। हाँ, वो जम्मू कश्मीर के बारे में अपने दूसरी पार्टी
आज भी कश्मीर में जो आवाम है वो ये दिल्ली की सल्तनत से खुश नहीं है। हम कोई इफेक्ट वहाँ नहीं कर रहे हैं वहाँ के लोगों का दिल जीतने का। और हम वहाँ पर ऐसा है कि सरकारी संस्था का कुछ भोज होता है तो पता चलता है कि आगरा से कुक्स बुलाया गया है, जबकि कश्मीरी व्यंजन इतनी अच्छी है कि आई डोंट वांट टू स्पेसिफाई अबाउट पीपल, बट आई थिंक आई हैव गिवन इनफ।
थैंक यू, मिस्टर अजीत भुयान।